Welcome back to Sledgehammer Horror, guys. I am Ken Sledge, and let's talk horror. So now we are doing part 2 of our community video. We're having so much fun with these guys. If you want to be involved in part 3, send your video to our email, which is right down in the description. We would love to have you, but you're not here to hear from me. You're here to hear from our community. So let's see what they have to say.
Hey, I'm Dane.
I'm Sicily.
We run the Danger Zone channel here on YouTube. You can find us at Danger Zone 85. Horror, I love horror. I grew up watching horror. My favorite things about horror are the practical effects. Number one for me, though, is the story. You have to have a good story. 2 is great scares. You have to have great scares. And, of course, practical effects. Those are my favorite things about horror.
For me, I agree, and I also grew up on horror. I really enjoy being scared. I love the creativity when it comes to like different kind of kills and different storylines. Like, I like new and creative things, and also suspense. I love suspense thrillers. I love like trying to figure out who did it or anything like that. So I really enjoy all of it.
I always wanted to get into the film industry, but I just never stuck my foot into it. But I do enjoy writing and reading certain authors. I really take inspiration from Tom Savini in doing practical effects. Those are some of my favorite things to do, is actually making effects for not even anything, just for myself, for Halloween.
Yeah, for fun.
Yeah, like this right here is a book that I made. It's like an Evil Dead type book. But this is where I keep my writings in. And if you guys want to see that closer up, I'll show it off if you guys want to check it out. But yeah, that's it for me. That's why I love horror.
Yeah, I agree.
Alright, so thanks for having us. See you guys.
Bye.
Hi horror community, it's Thiago here, aka Royal Horror. Thanks so much Ashley and Sledge for doing this idea to get to know the horror community. My name is Thiago. You can also find me on social media, YouTube and Instagram and Letterboxd as Royal Horror. I'm a filmmaker. I recently graduated from film school. I have a YouTube channel where I talk about movies, top, hidden gems, deep dives. I also do my own short films and things like that, all related to horror movies. And horror for me means an escape from my reality, from the outside world. Someone that grew up in a world where horror was not appreciated by my family or by my friends. I always felt like the side sheep, like the side character most of my time, but horror always made me feel as the main character of my own storyline, if that makes sense. So horror has always given me so much peace in my personal life, and that's something that I will always appreciate about this beautiful, the best subgenre in cinema. So if anything, what horror means to me is a sibling that I will always have with me for the rest of my life.
What's up everyone over here at the SledgeHammer Horror channel, including Ken and Ash. My name is Joshua Drake, aka Epitash Joshua. You can find me on YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, Letterboxd, all of that such on the link tree. Also, I do have a live podcast on Spotify and Apple playlists. And horror to me means a lot. Horror can be frightening, it can be thrilling, it can be intense, it can also be scary. It also is willing to go into places you don't necessarily want to go. But also horror can be a bit sexy sometimes with the hot female characters or the hot guys. But horror, you can just do a lot creatively there. With a mass killer or with criminal cases, with psychological horror, creatures in the caves. There's so much in the world of horror that you can bring out and you can have fun with. And to me, that's what I think horror represents. And it's a great genre to explore. Classics, you get to explore some new killers like Freddy Krueger or Jason, even some characters like Art the Clown and such. Horror is subjective, depending on how you like your horror. But for me, I think horror really means that you get to scare the ever-living hell out of someone. And to me, that's what horror is all about. My name is Joshua Drake of Epitash Joshua. You can find me on YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, Letterboxd, Blue Sky, Spotify, all of the social media links in the description box down below. And as always, stay epitastic, join the epitasticness, and you guys keep it cool as always. Thank you, Ken and Ash, for the incredible opportunity to talk about what horror means to me.
Hey, Scotty T here, Carmenate Dreams in the chat. Just want to say, horror means to me mostly family. Some earliest memories is watching, well, my parents weren't really keen on me watching horror movies, so it had to kind of like have my older brother like sneak them to me. Me and my little brother would watch House and then like be super scared and then have to like watch like House followed up by House 2, you know, because it had like a little more family friendly, had like a little caterpillar, you know, dog. So kind of like lighten the mood a little bit so we can actually go to sleep at night. Going to my cousin's house and watching like Halloween 3 and Pet Sematary, which was like horrifying at the time. And man, just a good time all with my sister. Going over her apartment and just watch like Friday the 13th. But just want to thank you guys, Ken and Ashley, for setting up an awesome ass community. Just good people. Just want to thank y'all. And you guys really hold my mind up to more horror movies. I'm usually more of like a sci-fi fantasy for most of my life, but last few years I've turned to a real horror hound just watching this show, watching your guys' channel. So I just want to thank y'all. Great community. Oh, and if you want to find me, I'm on Carbonate Dreams YouTube or Carbonate Dreams YT. I do movie trivia, mostly horror, sci-fi, fantasy. So if you're ever having a party or anything like that, you want to like, you know, have some fun to watch, set the mood. From there, you can find a link to my Discord. And we do a lot of like horror movies. We do Saturday, watch a horror movie every Saturday night, usually around 10 p.m. to 12 o'clock midnight, usually when it starts. And I'll stream it and you guys can watch in real time. And we just kind of, you know, watch along and comment on it. All right, catch y'all later. Peace.
Hi everyone. So I'm here to tell you guys how I got into horror. So the first thing is I got into horror very, very young. So I was probably around like 3 or 4 years old. That was when I experienced watching Tales from the Crypt for the first time. And that was insanely creepy and scary. And yeah. So yeah, that's where I got my love for horror movies, to be honest. My very first horror movie I've ever watched, though, was probably... Sorry, that's my cat. So yeah. Probably The Ring was my first horror movie, to be honest. I also liked, I Know You Did Last Summer too, that was a good one. So yeah, you can find me on Instagram. I do have a movie account on there called Amanda Loves Movies. I also have a personal account. You can follow me on there if you want. It's at Amanda ANA _ 1990. So if you want to follow me on there, I do have a TikTok too, which I don't know if you want that, but if you want to follow me there, it's Amanda the Bookish Slayer, so you can follow me there too.
Hi, I'm Faith. On TikTok, I am Blood and Popcorn, and I was asked to send over a video as to why horror is so important to me. I was introduced to horror at such a young age. Like, my dad was always watching horror movies, like the old Frankensteins, The Thing. Jaws, I think, was my first scary movie that I watched. I was terrified. I thought that shark was going to eat me from underneath my bed, like, because that makes sense. I don't know, it just is very nostalgic to me. And I love that thrill. I love a good scare. Not in real life, though. I just like to feel frightened, and I like to know the unknown, You know, I just feel like that's cool. And I love how many different people have different ideas and show horror in such different ways, because horror is not just one thing, right? There's so many subgenres, and what you think is scary is so different than what I might think is scary. And it just builds a community of people, which is honestly, the horror community is probably one of the best communities I've ever been in. But the community, the fear, just the heart racing adrenaline that I get, and the nostalgia of growing up watching that with my dad, that is what horror means to me.